One thing about this situation that really pisses me off is the way that I have to be lumped in to the category of depressed people, unhappy people, mentally unwell people, as if I'm supposed to be like that. That's an inherent part of me. No disrespect to anybody who is um, inherently like that, but that's just not me. That's not supposed to be happening. The only reason I became depressed was in that relationship, all of my needs and wants were being neglected, and my brain was being bashed in with a sledgehammer every day. And then by the end of it, I had nothing left. And then I developed derealization disorder and depersonalization, which completely, absolutely wrecked my whole experience of life. Um, and then I couldn't deal with all of the consequences that the relationship had. Like not being able to find out how my YouTube channel would have turned out, and all of the the gap in my intellectual growth, and um, and it just compounded, got worse and worse as time went on because of the fact that I couldn't return to those things because of the derealization. And now, all my unhappiness just comes from the fact that I haven't been able to live my correct life. That I've just been in this bizarre alternative universe where instead of continuing in my life doing all the things that I was supposed to do and wanted to do, I ended up in that relationship and then just went spiraling off into some other dimension. Like, it's not that like I'm it's not like I'm an inherently troubled person. I had no reason to be that way. I was really passionate about um, astronomy specifically, but also just science in general. Just all the questions about life in the universe, and I just knew that was what I was supposed to do with my life. There was no question about it. And then I was really good at, I was passionate about comedy, being creative, and I really enjoyed like making people laugh and making people happy. And I liked interacting with people. I wanted to meet people with my same interests and passions, and I wanted to make friends like at university, and I wanted to have nice relationships, and I wanted to travel to places. Yes, I liked making money. I did all these things on the internet, like websites I made to make money. I liked programming and had loads and loads of interests and passions and skills and so much excitement about all the things that I wanted to do in my life, of which there were a lot. There was a lot of things that I wanted to do and was excited about. I had no reason to be troubled in any way. I was, and naturally, I'm just not. Like, I wouldn't. I know that it's easy to just say, oh, yeah, you are. You're just blaming it on this thing. No, I'm just not. Why would I do that? Do you really think that that is beneficial to me? That would be helpful. That is like my anger and frustration about the fact that this all comes down to that relationship experience has been the number one thing stopping me from making any progress to getting any better. I just can't get into any decent mindset about anything with that in the back of my mind. with the knowledge that none of this needed to have happened. All I had to do was not enter that relationship, and everything would have been fine. That just, the anger and the frustration that lives in the back of my mind about that has just made everything just impossible to resolve psychologically. So I'll not inflict that on myself for no reason if it wasn't true. Like I would love to be able to see this as like part of my journey in life. Like, this is something that I've had to face because of that's just what life. This is what my nature dealt to me. And my job is to overcome it and try and deal with it. That's a whole different experience than it only happened because I met this person. That's just so much worse. So between that and the other scenario, that this is all just inherent part of me, I'm supposed to be this way, I would choose that. That is so much easier to deal with mentally. It doesn't have that component of anger and frustration about how unnecessary it was and how it's all attributed to a person. That just makes it so much harder to deal with. So, no. I'm not just blaming it on the relationship. All of this, not one thing, not one aspect of this situation that I've been in for the past decade would have even been possible without the relationship. Because the depression started because of how I had my whole life had just been abandoned, and I was staring at my phone for 12 hours a day, talking to one person about childish nonsense. And the derealization happened because of all of the emotional stress I experienced in a relationship, because that's what derealization is. It's a defense mechanism against emotional stress. And my complex about my YouTube channel wouldn't have happened because the reason I stopped making videos was that I couldn't cognitively do it anymore because my brain had become accustomed to doing really low-level cognitive things as I spent 12 hours a day staring at my phone, talking to one person for a few months. And then even when the relationship wasn't like that anymore, my brain had become used to that, and also now my brain was just full of all of the intense emotions that were going on, and that none of that allowed any room for like creativity and thoughts and things. So that's why I became detached from the YouTube thing, and it's also why I became detached from all my intellectual pursuits. And then I couldn't go back to either of those two things because of the derealization. Blocked all the feelings associated with it, and just didn't allow me to engage with it. And then the longer that was the case, the more difficult it became to go back to. So, yeah, like every aspect of this situation was a direct consequence of that relationship and would literally be impossible without it. So I'm not blaming it on the relationship. That is just what happened. That is what caused all these things. And unfortunately, that's quite a unique situation. Those people who are like mentally unwell, and unhappy, depressed, it's not because of that. So whenever I hear the word depression, whenever I hear anything about it, it just makes me angry because I just see myself being lumped into that category when I'm not supposed to be like that. I'm just not. I was a really passionate, happy, motivated person, and I got thwarted by this relationship. when I was 14.